I'm not afraid to admit my love for the Xbox Series X and S. It's one of my favorite consoles thanks to the vast selection of games available on Game Pass, though that price hike is indeed a tough pill to swallow for many. It also has what might just be my favorite console feature of all time with Quick Resume. Yet, one of the biggest complaints I hear about the Xbox Series X and S is how it doesn't have enough games worth playing. When it comes to exclusives, I understand the logic. The current Microsoft strategy is primed and ready to leave exclusive games in the past. Having said that, the notion that an Xbox doesn't have any worthwhile games simply isn't true. The reality is that there are a lot of great first-party, third-party, and indie games available for the Xbox Series X and S with a high replay value, and these games are the reasons why I keep coming back to my Xbox over and over again. 2025 has been such a big year for gaming that one of the biggest breakout games of the year, Ball X Pit, feels like it's slipping back under the radar. I'm not always a fan of when a game incorporates several genres together, as is the case here with roguelikes and base building, but there's something about Ball X Pit that keeps me coming back to it. It's something I heard about, wasn't fully won over compared to my peers, and yet still kept coming back to it. Here's the true value of Xbox Game Pass, being able to discover great indie games like Ball X Pit, where you can devote dozens, if not hundreds, of hours of your life. It starts out with telling yourself just one more run until you're lying awake in bed strategizing how to optimize your base and prepare your next run. Diablo 4 is the type of game that you can put thousands of hours into it before saying, yeah, I'm not sure how good it really is. Say what you want about the current state of the game, and there are some legitimate critiques you can give it, but if you're spending thousands of hours playing a video game, chances are you're having fun with it more often than not. That's the beauty of Diablo 4. Is it always perfect? No, but it's always there for you. Whether playing alone or with friends, Diablo 4 still offers the same ultimately satisfying ARPG gameplay loop we all know and love, and its seasonal updates keep giving us a reason to come back time and time again. From one seasonal game to another, Sea of Thieves has been providing a steady stream of content since 2018. While it may have been overlooked at launch, Sea of Thieves has always been a hit with fans, quietly growing its player base thanks to continued support from Microsoft and Rare. It may not be the big mainstream tentpole franchise you think of when talking Xbox, but Sea of Thieves deserves a seat at the table. Its gameplay loop has always been one that's enjoyable, especially when playing with friends. Now that Microsoft and Rare are committing the necessary resources to Sea of Thieves, it's the type of live service game that's worth playing over and over. The open-ended gameplay of the modern Hitman games has always been one that adapts well to replayability. There are countless ways to complete each mission, whether you're going for efficiency, creativity, or looking to 100% the game. However, developer IO Interactive has been able to keep things fresh with, you guessed it, a steady stream of content updates. Maybe that's the secret to making these games appealing all these years later, giving players a reason to keep coming back. Hitman's most recent update, the completely out of left field Eminem vs. Slim Shady scenario, is way better than it has any right to be. It's the same Hitman gameplay that has already won us over, combined with the cross appeal and over-the-top pop culture that piques your interest. Combine that with its open-ended gameplay, which encourages creativity, and you have the recipe for a game that keeps you coming back for more. Even when the game first launched and was struggling with its early issues, you can tell there were some good bones in Cyberpunk 2077. It had all the markings of the epic, open-world RPG we were all expecting, complete with a seemingly infinite amount of side quests, characters, and stories to explore. Of course, the game's launch was disappointing, and that's putting it lightly, but it still found a way to win people over based on its potential. Now, here we are 5 years later, still enjoying our time in Night City. CD Projekt Red deserves all the credit in the world for delivering on the vision we all expected. Cyberpunk 2077 has more content than most people know what to do with. Every time we pick something else up, Night City calls, and we're always obliged to answer. The original Hades was already an incredibly replayable game thanks to its roguelike mechanics, weapon variety, and gripping combat. Hades 2 is not just a better version of its predecessor, but perhaps the best roguelike ever made. Everything from the combat, dungeon design, and all the way to character depth is a massive improvement over what was already an incredible game. There are too many sequels where the heart and soul of the original game get lost in the shuffle. That's not the case here. It's very much more Hades, keeping its DNA intact while improving on the experience. If it were released any other year, Hades 2 would be a lock for Game of the Year. Sadly, it's up against a true murderer's row of games released in 2025. I mean, it's Halo. To the old heads like me, that's all you need to know. Now, I understand that most people out there today aren't old heads who spent countless hours in college playing Halo instead of studying, so let me paint a picture for you. I say this as a staunch defender of GoldenEye 007, which holds up well today, especially if you play it on Xbox. No console shooter has ever or will ever be Halo. Playing through the campaign, whether alone or in co-op, holds up extremely well on its own, even today. Perhaps that's the reason the Halo remake is just the campaign. What puts Halo over the top is its incredible multiplayer, offering a mostly balanced, diverse, and enjoyable meta, along with stellar level design. I'd say that you just had to be there, but thankfully we have the Master Chief Collection. It may not let me run off Monster energy drinks 24/7, but it does let me relive those Halo memories. Extraction shooters are all the rage today, but none offer the balance of tension, gameplay, and immersion like Arc Raiders. Yes, if you're looking for a mechanically sound shooter with solid gameplay, you're in luck with Arc Raiders. The real value, and this is where its replayability comes into play, stems from the interactions you have with strangers. It's far from your stereotypical looter shooter where you'll mindlessly shoot bullet sponges for hours in hopes of acquiring gear that increases your stats. Arc Raiders is about working together, braving the unknown, and convincing strangers that you come in peace. Or, shooting those who are vulnerable and stealing all of their loot. It's an intense, addictive, and satisfying experience that ranks among the year's best multiplayer games and deserves more award recognition. The problem with replaying Oblivion has never been whether the game continually offers something new to its players. It absolutely does. That's the beauty of an open-world RPG. No, its problem was how janky Oblivion can be. Sure, that's part of its charm, but I couldn't help but feel like I wanted some more polish after experiencing the same bugs over and over again. Thankfully, Oblivion Remastered has my back. Kudos to Bethesda and the team at Virtuos for understanding that there needed to be a delicate balance between polish and jank. There are some things I absolutely wanted to see to improve my gameplay experience, particularly in its leveling. At its heart, though, this is still Oblivion, and Oblivion has always been a game that's worth coming back to on a regular basis. Now, with Oblivion Remastered, it's easier than ever. You can spend hundreds of hours within Elden Ring and still not come close to seeing everything it offers. Even if, by some miraculous reason, you've seen everything Elden Ring offers in one playthrough, I'd honestly not believe you. There are so many areas of interest, enemies, bosses, and hidden secrets that even if you can see and do everything in one playthrough, you've already made your money on Elden Ring's replayability. But then there's the fact that you only beat the game with one build. There are countless builds available, different ways to play the game, and so many strategies to employ that changing things up makes it feel like a brand new game, no matter how many hours you've put into Elden Ring. That's what makes it not only highly replayable, but one of the most replayable Xbox Series X and S games you can play today.